sincere. Niccolò Machiavelli once wrote, "A man who wishes to be good all the time will come to ruin among so many." That is not a command to become evil. It's a reminder that purity in a corrupt world is a luxury that can cost you everything. The deceitful world you live in was not created overnight. It was shaped by centuries of competition, for wealth, for dominance, for survival. Every human being you meet is playing a game, whether they admit it or not. They hide their intentions behind smiles. They trade words as weapons. To navigate such a world, you cannot remain naive. Power begins with perception. Most people believe power is about control. Control over others, over systems, over money. But true power, the kind that endures, starts with control over yourself. Control over your emotions when others try to provoke you. Control over your silence when the world demands you speak. Machiavelli said, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. You cannot choose your world, but you can choose your circle. The deceitful are drawn to chaos. The powerful are drawn to clarity. Learn to separate the two. In the game of deceit, your weakness is never what they take from you. It's what they make you reveal. Power means being unreadable. It means training your face to remain calm when your mind is burning. It means smiling when they expect anger and walking away when they expect a fight. The art of deception doesn't always mean lying. Sometimes it means withholding truth. There is power in mystery. The more unpredictable you are, the harder you are to manipulate. As Machiavelli warned, men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel. The world believes what it sees, so create the image that serves your survival. To become powerful in a deceitful world, you must understand that trust is not a virtue, it's a currency, and like any currency, it can be counterfeited. People will offer you loyalty, but loyalty bought cheaply will betray you in silence. Test it, challenge it, observe it when times are difficult. The deceitful reveal themselves not in their words, but in their reactions to your success. When you rise, you'll see who celebrates you sincerely, and who claps only because others are watching. Machiavelli noted, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous." He did not say this to make you hate mankind, but to prepare you for it. Expect betrayal. Expect envy. And when you expect it, it no longer has the power to surprise you. You must also learn the subtle art of strategic unavailability. The more accessible you are, the less value you hold. Power demands scarcity. Those who are everywhere are respected nowhere. Let absence sharpen your presence. When you retreat, do it deliberately, not as weakness, but as a signal of strength. The world chases what it cannot easily have. The deceitful will always try to pull you into constant exposure, endless talking, oversharing, because the more they know, the easier you are to control. Protect your silence like a fortress. As Machiavelli observed, it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Fear here does not mean cruelty. It means maintaining boundaries that others respect. Every deceitful person feeds on emotion, your anger, your desperation, your need for validation. If you can master detachment, you become untouchable. Power, in its purest form, is emotional neutrality. When others try to provoke you and you respond with calm, you rob them of control. When they insult you and you smile, you confuse their strategy. When they lie and you act as if you believe them, you gain the upper hand because you are now observing from above, not reacting from below. The deceitful play emotional chess, the powerful playtime. Power is not something you chase. It's something that has to be created. The deceitful chase it desperately, grasping at illusions, titles, validation, attention. But real power operates quietly, like gravity. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It simply pulls everything toward it. To become powerful in a deceitful world, you must shift from seeking to attracting. The weak demand respect. The powerful command it by presence alone. Machiavelli once observed, "The vulgar crowd always is taken by appearances, and the world consists chiefly of the vulgar." He knew the truth. People will always judge your appearance before your substance. Therefore, build both. Craft your presence with care. Speak little, but make every word as sharp as a blade. Move with intention, not impulse. A deceitful world is filled with noise, endless opinions, manipulation through trends, moral confusion disguised as virtue. The powerful understand that most voices speak not from truth, but from interest. So they detach. They observe patterns. They listen to silence. When everyone is screaming for attention, silence becomes a statement of control. You do not need to prove your worth to a dishonest society. You only need to live in such a way that your worth becomes self-evident. When people feel your discipline, your composure, and your indifference to flattery, they understand, even without words, that they're in the presence of someone who cannot be deceived easily. But how do you develop that aura of calm authority in a world designed to provoke chaos? By mastering what Machiavelli called virtù, not virtue in the moral sense, but excellence in one's own nature. It is the combination of wisdom, courage, and strategic timing. Virtù means acting decisively when opportunity arises and enduring patiently when it does not. It means shaping circumstances rather than being shaped by them. The deceitful are reactive. They live from impulse to impulse, chasing temporary victories. The powerful build foundations so strong that no single storm can shake them. In your daily life, deceit appears in subtle forms, such as the co-worker who flatters you while plotting your fall, the friend who only calls when they need something, the family member who manipulates your emotions in the name of love. You cannot fight every deception directly. That would consume your peace. Instead, you must become so stable, so internally fortified, that deceit exhausts itself against your composure. Your silence becomes a mirror that reflects others' true nature. They expose themselves, trying to unsettle you. But power cannot be found in manifestation, so you can never be moved from your place of power. The deceitful are always in a rush to win. They crave instant gratification because time reveals truth, and truth destroys their illusion. But the powerful have no such urgency. They play the long game. Machiavelli advised rulers to never allow disorder to develop in order to avoid a war. For you do not avoid it, but only defer it to your disadvantage. The wise apply this to all conflicts. Deal with threats when they are small. Don't let small lies grow into betrayals. Don't let disrespect become habit. You can forgive, but never forget. Forgiveness should be a kindness, not a weakness. The deceitful world often disguises itself as moral righteousness. It tells you to always forgive, always be kind, always be open. But absolute openness is vulnerability. Absolute kindness is submission. The powerful understand balance. They forgive when it serves peace, and they fight when it protects order. They are kind, but never naive. They give trust, but only once. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. A deceitful person thrives in the fog of emotion. When you act from principle instead of impulse, you cut through that fog. You become a figure they cannot manipulate, because you act from logic, not guilt. In a deceitful world, isolation can feel like exile, but it's actually training. Every period of solitude strengthens your independence from external validation. Those who fear being alone are easy to control. The deceitful sense it, they feel on loneliness. But when solitude becomes your ally, manipulation loses its teeth. You stop chasing approval and start cultivating presence. Machiavelli knew the cost of being misunderstood. He who becomes a prince through the favor of the people should always keep on good terms with them, he wrote. Yet even he understood that pleasing everyone is impossible. You must choose your audience carefully. You cannot teach wolves to value peace. You can only teach yourself to walk among them without fear. Power also demands adaptability. A deceitful world is not static. It evolves. Methods of control change, but the essence of manipulation remains the same. Control of perception. The powerful adapt without losing essence. They adjust their behavior while remaining loyal to their core principles. They can blend into chaos without becoming chaotic. As the Roman strategist Vegetius once said, "If you want peace, prepare for war." In the modern deceitful world, war isn't fought with swords. It's fought with attention, with information, with emotional leverage. To prepare, you must sharpen your intellect as much as your instinct. Study people the way generals study terrain. Observe how they use words, how they shift their tone, how they react to silence. You must also learn to weaponize your failures. The deceitful world punishes mistakes harshly because it wants you fearful and dependent. But the powerful convert every failure into intelligence. They extract lessons instead of shame. Every time you fall and rise, you gain an armor that deceit cannot pierce. Power is not about never falling. It's about falling without losing form. Even Machiavelli admitted that fortune, the unpredictable force of fate, plays a role in every success. But he also insisted that fortune favors those who act boldly. He said, "Is a woman, and it is necessary if you wish to master her, to conquer her by force." Meaning, do not wait passively for good times. Shape them through action, risk, and courage. Deceitful people often hide behind appearances of morality. They speak of fairness while plotting injustice. They preach humility while craving domination. You cannot beat them by exposing hypocrisy. You beat them by demonstrating results. When you are successful, consistent, and unmoved by criticism, their deceit collapses under its own weight. Your power becomes proof. In time, even your silence will speak louder than their noise. As you grow stronger, the deceitful will shift tactics. They will first mock you, then question your motives, then try to ally with you. The worst deception is often flattery. Be wary when praise feels too sweet. Those who overpraise are often preparing betrayal. Machiavelli advised rulers to avoid flatterers. But if you cannot do without them, let men understand that you're not to be deceived by them. Learn to accept praise with politeness, but distrust its purpose. Gratitude should be expressed inwardly, not dependently. When you base your worth on external voices, you become a slave to deceitful approval. Power demands control over emotion, but it also demands understanding of emotion. You must study human nature without despising it. Every deceitful act stems from fear. Fear of losing, fear of being exposed, fear of being powerless. When you see deceit, see fear behind it. That understanding gives you calm. When others manipulate, you can respond with pity, not rage. Because rage means they've already won. They've entered your mind. Detachment, not hatred, is the weapon of the powerful. When you learn to look at deceit as weakness rather than evil, you transcend it. You no longer fight darkness, you stand above it, and yet never become too detached to act. Machiavelli warned that indecision destroys rulers more than cruelty. Power requires hard decisiveness. There will be moments when you must act ruthlessly, not out of malice, but necessity. You may have to cut ties, confront liars, or walk away from comfort to preserve your integrity. In those moments, remember, the deceitful world rewards hesitation with exploitation. Act clearly, act cleanly, and never apologize for choosing self-respect over convenience. At some point in your journey through a deceitful world, you'll realize something profound. Surviving is not enough. Survival is the art of defense, but power, true, sovereign power, is the art of offense. You cannot merely react to the deceit of others. You must learn to anticipate, influence, and direct it. Those who remain defensive forever end up prisoners of other people's games. Those who take initiative bend the world to their will. Machiavelli warned, "He who allows himself to be governed by fortune loses control of events." To be strong, you cannot bow down to anyone else, and you have to remove yourself from being under someone else's control. The deceitful world loves to disguise fear as morality and weakness as kindness. It praises the obedient and punishes the unpredictable. To become powerful, you must unlearn this conditioning. You must stop seeking moral approval for every action. You owe the world integrity, not explanation. You must be both wolf and shepherd, able to defend, but willing to hunt. The deceitful thrive on those who hesitate, who wait for permission to act. Stop waiting. Act in alignment with strategy, not emotion. Every day you hesitate is another day the deceitful advance. Machiavelli said, "Never was anything great achieved without danger. Power demands risk. The deceitful avoid risk because they fear exposure. The powerful embrace it because it exposes truth. Your words must become instruments of precision. The deceitful use language to cloud judgment. The powerful use it to clarify. Speak less, and when you speak, make it count. Train your tongue to reveal only what strengthens your position. There is immense power in measured speech. It builds anticipation. It creates mystique. When you speak rarely, people hang on to every word. Even your silence begins to feel like authority. As Sun Tzu wrote in The Art of War, "Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak." The deceitful world cannot read subtlety. It expects extremes. The powerful thrive in subtlety. They never show their full hand, and they never let emotion dictate tone. You must also master emotional leverage. In a deceitful world, emotion is currency. Those who understand it control it, but those who don't understand it remain defeated. But Machiavellian psychology teaches you something deeper. Emotions are not to be repressed. They are to be directed. Anger, fear, desire. Each can be transmuted into focus, strategy, and influence. When others panic, you plan. When others celebrate, you observe. This discipline creates psychological distance, the space from which real power operates. You become the calm center in a storm of chaos. People naturally gravitate to those who stay calm when others crumble. That is how leadership begins, without title, without permission. The deceitful world also tempts you with validation. It will whisper that you need recognition to matter. But mind it, public validation is a trap. It ties your worth to the judgment of liars. Machiavelli wrote, "Men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony, because people value control over their interests more than loyalty or sentiment." Understand this truth. Then you will never again confuse affection with alliance. You will measure relationships by mutual benefit, not empty words. Power is built not on emotion, but on exchange. Always ask, what does this person gain from me? What do I gain from them? Balance is respect. Imbalance is danger. As you rise, envy will follow you like a shadow. The deceitful cannot tolerate someone immune to their manipulation. They will call you arrogant, cold, or ruthless, not because you are wrong, but because you are free. Learn to accept the hatred of the small-minded as confirmation that you are growing beyond their reach. Machiavelli said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Love is fragile, fear is reliable. But the modern Machiavellian does not seek to rule through terror. He commands respect through consistency. People fear what they cannot predict, and they respect what they cannot break. Become both. To gain power, you must stop explaining yourself. The deceitful demand explanations to extract information. They pretend to seek clarity, but they seek weakness. When you justify, you reveal insecurity. When you stay composed, you reveal strength. Let your results speak. The deceitful argue with words. The powerful argue with outcomes. This doesn't mean arrogance. It means economy. Every unnecessary word dilutes your authority. As the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be, because in this deceitful world, authenticity is rebellion." Another essential principle: control your reputation, even among liars. Reputation is armor in a deceitful world. It's not about what's true, it's about what's believed. Protect your image like a weapon. Never let gossip define you. Control the narrative by being deliberate with visibility. Sometimes disappearing is secret strategy. The deceitful depend on attention. They cannot stand being ignored. Starve them, withdraw your reaction, and you take their power. When people cannot predict your moves, they begin to fear your silence. That fear builds the aura that separates the powerful from the rest. Power also requires endurance, the ability to persist without applause. The deceitful world runs on short attention spans. Everyone wants rapid success, instant influence, easy respect. The powerful work quietly, relentlessly, knowing that real power compounds over time. You do not rush destiny, you prepare for it. Every small act of discipline, every time you choose silence over reaction, focus over distraction, solitude over noise, you are building a fortress within. And when the time comes, you'll not need to declare your strength. The world will feel it. However, beware of one danger. Don't fall for the deception you're going through. The Machiavellian mind must remain lucid. Deception is a tool, not a lifestyle. If you use manipulation as your only language, you will lose the ability to trust even yourself. The goal is not to out-deceive everyone. It is to become so aware that no deceit can bind you. Power without morality collapses into paranoia. Power with awareness evolves into wisdom. The deceitful rule for a season, the powerful rule for generations. In your pursuit of power, humility must remain your silent guide. Not the humility of weakness, but the humility of a strategist, aware that every victory can be reversed, every fortune can shift. As Machiavelli admitted, fortune controls half of human affairs. The other half belongs to will. Therefore, act boldly but plan cautiously. Build alliances with caution, but never close your mind to opportunity. The deceitful world feeds on extremes. Neither love blindly nor hate recklessly. Treat life as a chessboard, each move calculated, each sacrifice meaningful. Ultimately, power in a deceitful world is not about conquering others. It's about mastering yourself in front of others' deceit. When you no longer need to lie, react, or explain, you transcend the game. You see it, understand it, and move through it with precision. The deceitful manipulate to survive. The powerful understand to endure. In this deceitful world, everyone is wearing a mask. The tragedy is not that people lie, it's that most lie to themselves first. They call their cowardice humility, their envy justice, and their manipulation love. The powerful see through these disguises without resentment. You must learn to recognize human weakness without despising it. If you hate the deceitful too deeply, you become like them. The Machiavellian way is not hatred, it's understanding. You understand human motives the way a doctor understands disease, not to curse it, but to cure yourself from catching it. There will also be times when the deceitful win small battles. Let them. Power does not mean winning every conflict. It means choosing which ones are worth fighting. Never waste energy proving a liar wrong. Time will do it for you. Every deceit carries its own destruction within it. The liar eventually believes his own lie, and that delusion leads to collapse. Stay silent. Let truth mature on its own schedule. Your restraint will always outlast their noise. The final transformation is subtle but absolute, when you stop fighting deceit and start using it as fuel. When you can observe manipulation, betrayal, flattery, and still move strategically, calm, centered, and unbroken, you have become untouchable. When the deceitful thrive on reaction, deny them that satisfaction. Let people reveal their nature and act accordingly. That's when you become strong and confident, because you can easily be distinguished from others. When the deceitful world tells you to compromise, remember Machiavelli's timeless warning. He who becomes a prince through fortune must keep what fortune gives him through virtue. Whatever power you gain through luck will vanish unless you sustain it through discipline. Stay sharp, stay calculating, but above all, stay self-aware. At the highest level, the Machiavellian path becomes spiritual. It's no longer about control over others, but mastery of perception. You begin to see deceit not as corruption, but as the natural state of a world where everyone is afraid. Fear breeds lies. Courage breeds truth. When you live fearlessly, when you are neither deceived by flattery nor paralyzed by betrayal, you become the rarest kind of human, one who sees clearly and acts decisively. That is true power. So how do you become powerful in a deceitful world? You study it without becoming it. You play the game, but you never forget that it is a game. You build a mind that cannot be manipulated, a heart that cannot be blackmailed, and a presence that can't be ignored. You let the deceitful drown in their illusions while you rise quietly, mastering the art of calm authority. Machiavelli's wisdom was never a manual for tyranny. It was a mirror for reality. He showed us that goodness without strength is meaningless, and power without understanding is blind. To live powerfully in a deceitful world is to blend both, the cunning of strategy and the purity of self-awareness. When you reach that state, deceit no longer threatens you. It amuses you. You smile at it, not because you are naive, but because you have seen too much to be surprised. You've learned that deception is just fear wearing a mask, and that the world bows not to those who expose lies, but to those who cannot be broken by them. And that, ultimately, is how you become powerful in a deceitful world, not by fighting its darkness, but by becoming the calm flame that never flickers within it. Power. Everyone wants it, but few truly understand it, and even fewer dare to pursue it honestly. Because in a deceitful world, honesty is a weapon turned against you. To become powerful here, you can be brutal, because the world is not built for the sincere. Niccolò Machiavelli once wrote, "A man who wishes to be good all the time will come to ruin among so many." That is not a command to become evil. It's a reminder that purity in a corrupt world is a luxury that can cost you everything. The deceitful world you live in was not created overnight. It was shaped by centuries of competition, for wealth, for dominance, for survival. Every human being you meet is playing a game, whether they admit it or not. They hide their intentions behind smiles. They trade words as weapons. To navigate such a world, you cannot remain naive. Power begins with perception. Most people believe power is about control. Control over others, over systems, over money. But true power, the kind that endures, starts with control over yourself. Control over your emotions when others try to provoke you. Control over your silence when the world demands you speak. Machiavelli said, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. You cannot choose your world, but you can choose your circle. The deceitful are drawn to chaos. The powerful are drawn to clarity. Learn to separate the two. In the game of deceit, your weakness is never what they take from you. It's what they make you reveal. Power means being unreadable. It means training your face to remain calm when your mind is burning. It means smiling when they expect anger and walking away when they expect a fight. The art of deception doesn't always mean lying. Sometimes it means withholding truth. There is power in mystery. The more unpredictable you are, the harder you are to manipulate. As Machiavelli warned, men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel. The world believes what it sees, so create the image that serves your survival. To become powerful in a deceitful world, you must understand that trust is not a virtue, it's a currency, and like any currency, it can be counterfeited. People will offer you loyalty, but loyalty bought cheaply will betray you in silence. Test it, challenge it, observe it when times are difficult. The deceitful reveal themselves not in their words, but in their reactions to your success. When you rise, you'll see who celebrates you sincerely, and who claps only because others are watching. Machiavelli noted, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous." He did not say this to make you hate mankind, but to prepare you for it. Expect betrayal. Expect envy. And when you expect it, it no longer has the power to surprise you. You must also learn the subtle art of strategic unavailability. The more accessible you are, the less value you hold. Power demands scarcity. Those who are everywhere are respected nowhere. Let absence sharpen your presence. When you retreat, do it deliberately, not as weakness, but as a signal of strength. The world chases what it cannot easily have. The deceitful will always try to pull you into constant exposure, endless talking, oversharing, because the more they know, the easier you are to control. Protect your silence like a fortress. As Machiavelli observed, it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Fear here does not mean cruelty. It means maintaining boundaries that others respect. Every deceitful person feeds on emotion, your anger, your desperation, your need for validation. If you can master detachment, you become untouchable. Power, in its purest form, is emotional neutrality.